Now is the time. A time you'll look back on. A time you adopt as inspiration. You will recollect this time. This moment, right now. Motivate yourself towards success. Overcome. Take over. The time is now.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
Well, mate,
All
how
good,
are you?
Chris? Not too bad, Chris. We're
Good.
not dancing on the ceiling, but we're still celebrating nonetheless.
Absolutely.
Will we get straight into it? We are due. Pete is due to join us as well. Richie's taking the night off, but all is good as you. First of all, Chris.
Yeah, Sammy. Yeah, all good. To be honest, I'm still rattled off that Man City Liverpool score. Like, just devastated because I was really looking forward to that game, thinking the opposite would have happened. But But yeah, no, really, as I've just put in the chat there, really proud of the lads today. Thought we did really well, and it just shows how far we've come. So yeah, I'm slightly disappointed, but really pleased at the same time. You know, another clean sheet, another, we've avoided another defeat at Old Trafford. So we've had some tough fixtures this season so far. Really tough fixtures.
Yeah,
and we've really
we
got
have.
through them.
Yeah, and we've got 2 more to come in the shape of Everton on Wednesday night and Spurs then next Sunday. But let's get into this one now. As I said, Peter's due to join us. He's making his way back actually from the game, so we'll get his opinion as well. But let's get into it. Let's go to the team sheet. So for Newcastle, there was one change with Joe Linton coming in and Willock making way. And Willock was sick during the week, but he did turn up at the game and he was on the bench. I think he even travelled separate to the squad. I suppose probably not to try and no one else gets sick. So he was on the bench and he did come on. We'll talk about that later as well. But what was your thoughts, Chris, on the team? I know there was talks of will he go with the unchanged team? Will Target come in for Byrne? Will Joe Linton start as he did? But your thoughts?
I thought Eddie Howe got the team spot on, to be honest, because obviously it was disappointing Isak was out. It was disappointing that Maxi also out. But I was pleased he kept the back forward as it was. I know there were some people saying maybe we should bring Matty Target in at left back in replacement of Bain, but I think it'd be very difficult to take Bain out at the minute. Albeit, there was a few hair-raising moments when he was one-on-one with him, but he managed it reasonably well. When I saw that Joe Linton had come in, I must admit I was pleased with that. And again, talking about what I was saying about Bain, I thought, Willock was a bit unlucky to be dropped, albeit apparently he wasn't feeling too well the last couple of days, so it made sense. But I always feel we're a bit more stronger in midfield in terms of a defensive point of view when Joe's in the team, Joe Linton, I mean. So I was pleased to see Joe Linton on the left, kind of supporting Dan Bain. So I was pleased Joe Linton had been brought back into the team. And obviously, there was some rumours before the game that Miguel Almiron wasn't going to be fit.
There's an awful lot of rumours that kind of we knew that someone wasn't going to make the starting lineup, but because I remember you're right about now or just before the team was announced, you were mentioning Miggy, and I saw Willock be mentioned by Craig Hope or something like that. So it was kind of who someone's missing, but who is it? So it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, but no, other than that, I was pleased. Nice to see Shelby on the bench as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say as well. Great to see Shelby back. Because there was when he had the injury, we thought we wouldn't see him this side of the World Cup, but great to see him back, and he'll become valuable to us with these games coming thick and fast now. So that is our team for today, away at Old Trafford, and this is Man United's team. Don't really care. That's them. But yeah, it was a right old battle, 5th against 6th. Who would have thought it from where we were last year? This time last year. So it was a massive game for us. But let's get into it. So I go to my notes, trusty notes. Yeah, okay. 2 minutes into it, Fred had a shot. Shard, remember that when Shard went off the pitch, he fell off the slope in Old Trafford, and he looked like he had twisted his ankle or twisted his knee, but he was okay as well. It was in the early minutes. Pressure from both sides really. Newcastle had a lot of corners in around the up to around the 10th minute mark. There was a shot then from Sancho as well on the 12th minute, and then there was the first incident of the day. And I know, I know we had a bit of debate about this, Chris, on the chat, because when I saw it first, I didn't think it was. Well, we didn't get anything anyway. And the incident I'm talking about is the Wilson incident. I didn't think that it would be given. But when you look at it again, you do start to question why. And they did look at it apparently with the VAR. But yeah, what your thought on this incident? Now I've one or two pictures, and I also have a little video clip, but I'm not sure if the video clip will work, and I might just shut down the show. So let's try look at the pictures first. So this is the incident. What was your thought on this one, Chris?
Do you know what? As soon, Daz, no word of a lie, as soon as it happens, like my daughter
Bad
jumped
picture.
about 3 foot in the air because I just screamed at the telly. And then obviously, you kind of have that element of doubt, don't you, where you go, oh, was it, or did he get the ball or whatever? And then even when I saw the replays, like I've seen 2 or 3 replays, and I was just like, how's that not a pen? How was that not a pen? And I heard the commentator saying, oh, well, maybe Martinez, the fact that Martinez was there,
Yeah,
maybe that has an impact. And it's like, what? The only impact that Martinez being there would have had is that it wasn't a red in terms of, he wasn't the last man. But Varane just comes straight over, gets in front of Wilson and just takes him out. And
yeah,
I'd be interested to see what they say on Match of the Day tonight. But for me, like it's a stonewall penalty. So yeah, that was really disappointing. But yeah, we didn't get it. What I would say is as well, and this is a question for the chat. Do you think the fact that the ball didn't go out of play, or that the game wasn't stopped, as to why VAR just looked at it and went, yes, I'm play on? Because if you remember, straight after that happened, there was quite a break before there was a break in play. Sorry, there was there was a bit of a gap before there was a break in play. And I always think sometimes when the ref, when like the game stops, and then obviously the referee stood there and all the players get mad and and having an
yeah.
influence, I always wonder whether there's more emphasis on it, and maybe the officials in Stockley Park kind of have to really really look at it, because they
Mm.
know that the whole stadium's waiting. Whereas because the game had played on for so long, it just made me feel like they just looked and went, nah, the game's going on, carry on. But
So
I
if Wilson had because Wilson shot straight away to try and get involved in play again, but you think if Wilson stayed down a bit, it might have it might have swayed it another way.
No, I mean in terms of like the ball going out of play.
Yeah,
So say
yeah.
say it happens and then the
But
ball
the
went out for a
referee
throw,
probably
the ref would have stopped it. But
yeah,
it
but
carries on and on and on and on, and I just thought they thought, oh, it's gone now, just leave it.
mm,
That was my impression. I could be wrong, but
yeah. No, well, I wonder if Wilson. Now, I think Wilson did the right thing, but if Wilson
mm,
stayed down, would the referee have stopped it? Still don't think he would have given the penalty. Okay, the truth. And I was one way it was probably so early in the game as well. Didn't always play to our advantage. But okay, it wasn't a. We didn't get given a
yeah,
penalty anyway. So what can we
yeah,
do?
yeah,
We'll drive on and we'll see what Pete's opinion on that incident is as well when he joins, because
yeah,
he was over that end of the pitch as well actually. So it'll see what his thoughts are. I'm be surprised if he doesn't say penalty. All right, let's move on. The 18th minute, Botman then went down with a head injury. He put in a great tackle actually. I think it was from Anthony, and he hurt his head, but he's up again. The Warrior. So yeah, both Botman and Char were in the wars today actually. But then the big massive incident in the game as well is this one here, where Joe Linton. Well, actually, just before that, Joe Linton goes on a bit of a mazy run. Trippier had a free kick hit into the wall, but then there was the follow up where Joe Linton had a brilliant header, but it hit the crossbar. Then it came right out to him again, and he hit the post. He kind of had an open goal in one way, and you think it was going to go in. He should have probably finished that, and that would have put us 1-0 up. But no, wasn't to be. Your thoughts on that bit, Chris?
Oh, it was just, you know what? It was just one of those moments, wasn't it? And what was even more frustrating was like the first header was kind of a bit of a punt, like he just wanted to get his head on it. And to be fair, he done well. The second one, when the ball come to him, because De Gea was on the floor, if that's on
Yeah,
target, it's in. It's done.
yeah,
Because De
I
Gea
know.
couldn't have got up for it. And then you just see Joe. It was quite, to be fair, it was quite a good header. You know, like it was controlled and like he didn't put too much pace on it. He just like directed it towards goal. And then when you're seeing it like going towards the post, it was just like, oh no. It was a really, really big chance. And like, you know, I know they say, you know, goals change games. And I do genuinely think if we'd have scored that goal, like we probably would have gone on to win it. And I know that's quite a bold thing to say, but I think the floodgates would have opened. I really, really do. But it is what it is. Again, it's just one of those things. We'll never really know, will we? We'll never know the answer. But I thought it was unlucky. But I can't criticize Joe for it because he did everything right, bar get it a
Put
couple
it
of
in the net.
inches lower. That's all
Yeah,
it was.
I know.
Yeah.
Then that was all around the 21st, 22nd minute. Then on the 26th minute, there was Ronaldo lob over Pope and put it in the back of the net, but it was offside. Oh no, sorry, he didn't put it in the back of the net. Pope saved it. Pope actually saved it. But yeah, he was already offside. Now I don't know when this incident happened, but when was the? Do you remember the pulling the shirt of Byrne? When did that happen?
Um,
I don't remember
Funnily
either,
enough,
Chris.
no, it's funny you say that, Daz, because I think on the stream I was watching, they didn't really highlight it. I remember seeing it on Twitter, and I was thinking, bloody hell, look at that, he's grabbing his shirt. But during the game, I don't think they actually focused on it. Certainly on the stream I was watching, I think it was Opal Sports 6 or something, but
Yeah,
it
that
didn't
explains
really.
it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I had the
it
same
didn't.
commentary. That what you quoted about Martinez earlier was the same word for word. So I had the same commentary. So it must be
Yeah,
that. It must be kind of they didn't focus in on it. Okay. But yeah, that was an incident as well where Burns' shirt was pulled inside the box and a potential for a penalty, I think, as well. The 36 minutes, Miggy wins a free, came to nothing really. A good save from Pope on the 37 minute from an Anthony shot. On the 47 minute, Bruno Fernandes for the header over the bar that took us to half time. But yeah, some pictures as well from different incidents in the game that I can't pinpoint a time slot, but yeah, that brought us to half time. So then into the second half, and yeah, Man United did come out all guns blazing in the second half. Um, well, first of all, in the 46th minute, though, Wilson had a shot wide the post from a mistake from Man United. Then on the 47th minute, not long after that, Ronaldo had the ball in the net, but it was offside. And then yeah, then there was the unusual incident where Ronaldo thought that the free kick was taken, or it was tipped. Trippier was tipping it back to Pope to take the free kick, but Ronaldo saw him tipping it beforehand, and he went up and robbed the ball and just put it in the back of the net. Cue it being no goal, but the Man United protest claiming that it was that he had already taken the free kick. So that was a really unusual incident, but. If that had counted, there would have been more. But
yeah.
your thoughts on that one, Chris?
I think yeah, I think it was just Ronaldo, a little bit of gamesmanship.
Chancing it,
I
yeah,
can kind of see why he did it because when you watch it back, he did roll it, but the referee, you know,
yeah,
the ball wasn't in play. I can see him being a little bit cheeky, like, but the referee was never going to give it because I think was it. I'm sure the commentator said he hadn't even blew his whistle or he was
yeah. The
looking at
referee
the
still, yeah,
thing.
it was the hand was up and stuff like that. So
Yeah, yeah. I can see
it wasn't.
why, but I thought the
Yeah.
yellow was a bit harsh though, to be fair.
No,
But
good enough for him. Let him take it. He's finished. He's finished. Yeah. So let's move on. 53 minutes then. Tackle in the box. Trips on Ronaldo. Good tackle from Trippier. We have. Well, here he is. Here he is.
the
He made it
man.
home.
Literally just got back now. What a day. What a day. Sorry I'm late, boys. Sorry I'm
No,
late.
don't worry, mate. Don't worry.
You're
Chatters,
grand, Pete.
you well?
All good, mate. Maybe we'll
good,
just
mate,
finish this off, Pete, and then we'll get your
Perfect.
overall thoughts
Yeah, get
on
Pete's feelings. Yeah.
the highlights at the beginning. So we're coming to a talking point here now. 57 minutes. Sancho and Longstaff got in a bit of a tumble. Let's say. Well, it was a kind of a tackle by Longstaff. Where I have a picture of it here somewhere. Here we go. And potential penalty claim. It went to VAR. What was your thoughts on this one, lads? I know in because myself and Chris were kind of backing over talking about penalties all through the game, but it was this one to me looked like it could potentially have been one for Man United. Would have been harsh on us not getting the other one and this being given to Man United. But what's your thoughts on this one?
It wouldn't. I'll jump in before Pete because I don't know whether Pete's seen it 2 or 3 times. I've seen it 2 or 3 times, obviously, because I was watching it at home. But for me, Daz, well, one, I think the referee was trying to give us one back for the one that we didn't get, and two, when I watched it back, it was very much like Longstaff's leg was out, and then Sancho fell over it. It wasn't a case of if it was risky what Longstaff did, don't get me wrong, because he flicked his leg out, but Sancho made contact with him once his leg was out. If Longstaff had flicked his leg out and made contact, it would have been a penalty. But for me, you see the way his leg's already out, Sancho made contact once his leg was out. So I think that's why VAR looked at it and just went, yeah, leave it. Whereas the Wilson one was the opposite because Varane just went in on him and took him down. But Pete, what was the reaction like over the Longstaff one? Was everyone just like, nah, no pen, or were you worried?
No, we none of us were worried, but about the actual incident. But you then remember you're at Old Trafford and you've got all of the home fans that are baying for blood, and you got all the players, all the Man U players going around, they're like, all going mad, all this, like trying to get decisions because it was pure desperation for them. But yeah, there was never anything in it. But you just touched on it, and you probably already spoke about it already, like how that Wilson penalty hasn't been given. I've got no idea. We could see it where we were right in front of it. Maybe not head on, but we were side on to that, and it was a stone waller. It's a stone wall penalty. Like there was no way that shouldn't have been given. And
have you seen it back yet, Pete?
Yeah, I've seen it back since, and it's even worse than my view. So from the view that I had, I was going absolutely mental because it was a stonewall penalty. I watched it back again, and I'm angry. I'm angry now because that should have been a penalty. There's no doubt about it. It's a joke. So what I have seen on social media is a lot of the Man U fans and Terry Flowers, who watches Loaded Mag as well. He's quite big on Man United, and he put a picture out there, and he was like, "Oh, is there anyone going to talk about this decision?" referring to the Sean Longstaff one. And then I've watched that video of Colin Wilson. I'm going, "Oh yeah, but you're not talking about that one because that one's even worse." It's a joke.
I don't know, maybe because my first time I saw it, and this is the debate we were having, Chris. I thought I was kind of putting it up early in the game at Old Trafford, and I didn't think I wasn't expecting to get the penalty, but then when I see it back, you're going, yeah, it should have been a penalty for sure, but yeah, still. Right, we'll move on. Then Fraser come on for Murphy, 64 minutes. There's a stamp on our Bruno by their, we're not even going to call him Bruno, Fernandes, and he got a yellow. 71 minutes. Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the best players in the world, Ballon d'Or winner, I don't know how many times, and he gets taken off, and Rashford comes on. Ronaldo was not happy. Yeah, then a treble substitution from us. We took off Byrne, Bruno, Wilson brought on Target, Willock, and Wood on the 78th minute. Then I fast forward to the 87th minute, where we were so lucky. The first time we were so lucky. Rashford got the ball in the corner, passed it into the box to Fred, and I don't know how Fred missed that. Who tackled him there? That was where I didn't see a replay of that again, but that was some move, and Fred really should have scored there. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think it could
have been Char. Yeah.
Yeah. The boy was colossal today. I've got to be honest.
Unbelievable shot today.
That's
he,
actually
he
that's why then he come off, because Lascelles come on. Shar was injured after that then, but yeah, they should have scored there. Any more thoughts on that one before we leave that one?
I'll be honest. There was a lad called Matt, and he was with his girlfriend who was stood next to him on the right hand side. And I said to him when it happened, I actually thought, and I don't know, I could be proved wrong here, but I actually thought he was offside when they played the ball through. He looked offside, so I wasn't overly worried about it because I thought they would put it up for offside. But the fact that they missed it, they never had to go back and have a look at it. So I don't know whether it looked different to you guys when the ball was played through initially. Was he kept onside or not?
Again, I don't.
We didn't get that angle on that stream,
No.
Chris.
They didn't mention it. They didn't mention it.
Yeah, they didn't bring it back again, and that's the problem with these streams, and you can't pause it and rewind back as well, and the usual. Right, and then one more incident left in the game, and it's 94th minute, and this is where the old Fergie time would have kicked in, where Rashford had a header and it missed wide. Lucky again in the last. So I think overall we were more dominant in the first half, but they really came at us in the second half, and we were holding on for the point. But what a point to get at away at Old Trafford. Fifth against sixth in the league, and a massive, as you touched on at the start, Chris, a massive difference from where we were this time last year. But are you happy with that, lads?
Yeah, just slightly disappointed, but again, as I said at the start, compared to last season, being me and Pete were at Old Trafford last season, and to be fair, it was never a 4-1, was it, Pete? Never a 4-1. But it was night and day in terms of performance for me today, because we were in that game the whole time, apart from maybe the last 10 minutes. I was a little bit disappointed with the last 10 minutes, not going to lie. I felt we were too negative. I think we sat in too much and we just invited the pressure, and we didn't see all the energy. But to be fair, I think was it Yano or somebody said earlier on that Eddie Howe said there'd been a lot of illness in the camp this week, and that there was some tired legs out there, and people were struggling a little bit towards the end of the game, so that can be forgiven. But I just think if Rashford could and should have scored, and it would have been really harsh on us, but thankfully he put that header wide. Thank God.
Exactly. And Pete, you got to meet Adam as well.
Hey.
Adam.
Yeah, I saw him at half time, but I was over the other side because they split it into two, the away end. Chris, I think you're on the other side last season. Yeah. I was over that side today, and he was right near us, so I didn't get a chance to speak to him at half time. But as I walked out, because we came out like when there was no fans left at the stadium, and he was doing his video, so I managed to just poke my head into the old video and say a little something. And then when he finished recording, I just had a little bit of a chat with him. He had a photo, and he was the same as you, Chris. He was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get the win, but all in all, it was a good point. I'll be honest, I was really happy with the point. I'd have took it before the game. I really was. But sometimes, in our rise, sometimes we have to remember where we've come from. We're going to Old Trafford, and Old Trafford's not been a good hunting ground for us. But for us to go there and not look at a place and really give them a good game, and as you boys have said, all bar the last 10 minutes, we were in that game and we were a threat throughout that game. That for me is night and day compared to what we've experienced in years gone by. So that to me alone is progress. But the manner in which we did it, at times we dominated possession, where all of their plans got thrown out the window after 20 minutes. And you could see Ten Hag on the sidelines going absolutely mental. He was going mad because everything that clearly he'd planned for was out the window, because we matched them for everything. We matched them for work rate, pressing, quality on the ball, and they couldn't get near us. Playing out of tight spaces at Old Trafford, of all places, one-touch passing out of tight spaces, balls down the wing from Trippier into Almiron. Almiron caused Shaw all sorts of problems down that side today. Very, very good. If you put it all into perspective, again, no Isak, no Alan Saint-Maximin, you've got players unwell that Howe's talked about. You put it all together, Got to be happy with that. Got to be happy with that. Well, I'll ask you the question, boys. When was Pope really tested today?
Wasn't
There was two occasions. Sorry, because I read it back. I'll tell you exactly, Pete. There was on the 26th minute when it was offside, but when Ronaldo tried to lob Pope, but he still made the save. It was offside, and there was another save from Anthony on the 37th minute. That was a good save that he made there as well. But apart from that,
save he made with his feet, does.
Was that quite
close? It was close, wasn't it?
It was
close. Was that?
That's right. Yeah.
That's that one. Daz, I don't count the offside one because it never happened. It was offside. So But it was that one from Pope where it was down his near post. I think he made the save, went out for a corner. That's the only time that I can remember Pope being tested in any way, shape, or form, and it was a very routine save, to be honest.
Yeah, it was about 5 yards away, wasn't it? You'd expect him to make that save.
Yeah, 100%. And so you think about it, it was a very, very, very comfortable, very, very comfortable afternoon for Nick Pope, considering he was going to Old Trafford. But look, what did you boys make of the performance of the back four? Because and the reason why I asked that is because, and you might have already touched on it already, is that we have obviously on away days had the conversation about Burn and Target. Who should start? Is Anthony going to be an issue? What are your thoughts on the back four in general, but also on Burn's performance against Anthony today?
Well, we are going to talk about each individual player in the rating. But it's a good question, Pete, because I think I have a feeling, I know two of us at least, our man of the match is going to come from the back four. So it's probably, maybe we'll take that as a collective, Pete. We'll go through the four, and we'll take the back four as a collective. It's pretty good way. So look, but first, before we go on to the ratings, let's say if you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Subscribe. You're missing out. What are you doing? Do the right thing, as Martin used to say. Do the right thing. And make sure you hit the like button as well. First up, Nick Pope.
I was waiting for it.
Got it. Hit the subscribe button.
I've forgotten about that. You're great. No, Nick Pope. So I classed it as two important saves. I'm putting them down as an 8 because when called upon, and he kept a clean sheet, giving them an 8.
Same, yeah. Pete's absolutely right. That was probably one of his quietest performances all season, but when called upon, he did a job. Probably don't need to dwell on them too much, but I give him an 8. Happy.
8 all round. And make sure you play along in the chat as well, because I know people that like this bit in the chat. Okay, next up, Trippier. Some important interceptions. Mentioning in the recap there, I mentioned the one tackle on Ronaldo as well. Again, showing leadership. And I think there was one thing at the start of the comments. I'll just bring up. It's not particularly linked to Trippier, but it's this from Mike Gent. Newcastle have the outright best defensive record in the Premier League so far this season. Also, no team in the top flight have lost fewer games than Eddie Howe's side in 2022. 23 complain. Away the lads. Nice one, Mike. Trippier. I'm giving Trippier a 8.5.
My scores for the defense are going to be pretty high this evening. I've got to be honest. I thought Trippier was outstanding today. He really a real captain's performance. Do you know what? It's all I say every week though about Kevin Trippier. Do you know what I mean? My only disappointment was that he didn't get it over the wall for that free kick, because when you watch it back, it was on target. So if he just lifted it that touch higher, he would have tested De Gea. But no, fantastic as usual, Kevin Trippier. What would we do without him? Won't dwell on it. I'm going to give him a 9.
Oh, 9. Straight in with a 9.
Straight in, mate. Straight in.
We only go up to 10, Chris.
I know. I'm not leaving much room for
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair enough. Sure, I'll give him an 8.5. So what am I saying? Right. Next up is Shar. Now he was in the wall.
We need Pete.
No.
Oh, sorry, Pete. Sorry,
Yeah,
Pete.
no, 9 for me. 9 for me.
Sorry about that, Pete.
Outstanding. Trippier. Yeah, England's best right back.
Yeah.
Need to say anymore.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. Move on. Shar. I was saying, yeah, he's in the wars on a number of occasions. He always seems to get well bet in the games. But no, solid, great passing as well from Shar. I'm going 8.25 for Shar.
8.25. I like it.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. I will raise you to a 10. I thought Fabian Schär was our man of the match today. I thought he was absolutely mustard. Like, and bearing in mind his defensive partner was also bloody mustard as well. But I'm going to give it to Fabian Schär this week for me, man of the match, because he literally just put his body on the line. Like that. Daz, you would. Well, no, it was. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. You know, where there was a really good chance for Man United and Schär just threw himself in front of it. He then jumped up with Anthony and got a big, was it Bruno Fernandes? Yeah, it was Bruno Fernandes, got a bang on the head. Schär always seems to go down every game, doesn't he? Injured for whatever reason. Every single game. But he really, honestly, I thought he was really superb today. And I thought he really stood out for me today. And when he went off, you know, he got a great reception, which fully deserved. And yeah, I thought Schär was superb today. Absolutely superb. So yeah.
Just on that, Chris. What was that? Someone's phone.
Right,
But no, you never really know when Schär is really injured though, because he always goes down and stays down. You know, usually playing to get a bit of a breather for everybody as well. But anyway, Pete, your thoughts on Schär?
Yeah, Fab Schär. Yeah, 9.5 for me. Unbelievable. I'm really glad that you guys saw what we saw today in terms of everything, blocks, positional play. He was exactly where he needed to be on the pitch. Hey, it's someone else who said about my hair.
Yeah, there.
I do have hair. I do have a nice head of hair. Might be a little bit messed up slightly because I'm traveling all day. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to get my. Literally, honestly, I'm not even joking to you. I've literally said like hello to my wife as I was walking in with my laptop to set up to come and speak to you. I spoke to you today while I spoke to my wife. So yeah, but I have to jump off very soon. She's just giving me the middle finger now. So that just tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
But
love is still in the air.
Always. But look, yeah, Schär was just outstanding. For me, yeah, best player on the pitch. Best player on the pitch today. Definitely.
Wow. So man of the match as well. So 2 man of the match competition is already over. Wow. 2 for Schär. Right. Next one up is Botman. And I said to Chris before the start of the show, I don't know whether to give man of the match to Trippier or Botman. And I'm giving it to Botman. So I'm giving Botman an 8.6, just so he's higher than Trippier. So, but yeah, some of his passing was unreal. It was like Shelby, like Hollywood ball passing in some of the tackles, the strength, he just looked class today, Botman. And between well, we wait till we get the collective back four, but they kept Ronaldo quiet as well. Chris, your thoughts on Botman?
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I don't normally do decimals here, but I feel harsh giving Botman a 9, so I'm gonna give Botman a 9.5 because he literally just missed out on that man of the match by Schär. But yeah, what a player, and still 22.
Yeah, 22.
It's looking good, isn't it, boys? Let's be honest. Looking very, very good. Yeah, now he's cemented his place in the team, hasn't he? And if Sven Botman's not playing, I think everyone would start panicking a little bit. He's cool, calm, collective. He's everything you want in a centre back. And I think Virgil van Dijk will be looking over his shoulder when it comes to the Dutch squads, because Sven Botman, if he carries on playing the way he's playing, he'll be in that squad in no time.
Yeah. I'm going to do something that I didn't think I was going to do with these player ratings. I'm going to give Botman a 9.49999. And look, I'll be honest with you. The only reason I haven't given him man of the match is purely because of that fantastic tackle from Shaw in the second half. That for me was is a man of the match tackle, and that's the only thing that separates them. I thought as a pairing they were unbreakable today. They were unbreakable. It would have had to have been a mistake from the fullbacks or from the goalkeeper in order for Man United to score. I thought they were outstanding, really, really good. And you could tell quite early on, Ronaldo and then later on in the game, Rashford were very frustrated by having to come up against them. There was a tackle early on in the game, and it was down Botman's side. I think Byrne had been caught too far up, and the ball gets played over the top, and Botman comes in. I think he ends up getting hurt in his head.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
and he just comes in and clatters him.
Yeah, it was Anthony.
Everyone's going, get in there! Like he's a. I heard it being said on Twitter. He's a man mountain. He is. He's like, he reminds me of the guy from Game of Thrones. The big. I think he's called Mountain. I think.
Yeah, he is
the big giant. Like he is. But you know what I like today about Botman. There's all this talk about Botman. He's too slow? He's not all the rest of this. Like he's got pace on him. He's not slow at all. But his positional play, his balls, his cross balls, all of that stuff we've seen, and it's amazing. But putting that together in a performance like that at Old Trafford, like we had Man United fans saying, "We wish we had him." This is exactly what we said on the Full Loaded Transfer Show. We'd have teams like Man United and fans from those clubs coming back when they saw Sven Botman play to go, he's a player. We'd love to have him in our team, and we are very lucky to have him. He's unbelievable.
We sure are. Right, I next up on the defense, because I nearly forgot about to mention this man, but Byrne is up next. So Byrne playing at left back again. And yeah, there's, as you mentioned, Pete, there's an awful lot of talk. Will Target come in? Yeah, he did an awful lot of. Why am I paused? I just have to reboot my camera as I'll continue talking for a second. But yeah, he put in some great tackles, and yeah, it was a lot of shithousery as well with him, and he did end up getting a yellow card then in the end. But at times then though, the thing I was harping back to before is getting caught for pace, and this Anthony's pace though is unreal. So that really caught him at times. But for me, I'm giving Byrne a 7.75.
Yeah, Byrne's going to get the lowest rating of all my defenders, but that's not to take anything away from him. One thing I'll credit Dan Byrne. Yeah, I still find it astounding how far up the pitch he gets. Like for such a big bloke, and you just see him striding down the pitch.
Yeah.
And I just think he's got a great engine on him. To be fair, he's up and down, gives his all. So I'm going to give him an 8, and that's not a bad score. To be fair. The only problem with Dan Byrne, and I'd say problem, the only thing that worries me slightly is whenever Anthony was one-on-one with him, I was just thinking, oh no. And to be fair, having Sven Botman next to him does put my mind at ease a little bit more. But it's just a massive advantage. Having Dan Byrne, who's a natural centre-back, who can play left-back, and then when we're attacking with the ball, when we've got our three at the back, it's great having Dan Byrne centre-back next to Botman and Shah. So, I've got no issues with it, but I'm surprised more teams don't really push down that side more. But no, I thought Dan Byrne did well today, and I'm going to give him an 8.
That's fair enough, Chris.
Yeah, I think that's more than fair. I in my mind had 8.5, so I'll stick with that with Dan Byrne. I can only think of 2 times that he let Anthony get the better of him through pace, which I think, considering what we talked about and how quick Anthony is, I thought that was good. I thought his positioning was very good. I thought he protected that side. That's probably been Anthony's most quietest game since he signed for the club. And I think Dan Byrne's a big part of that, so he gets massive credit for that, considering he's not really a left back. But yeah, I thought he did well. Like you both have said, he's not as good as the other members of his defence, but still a very, very good performance away from home. So fair play to him, 8.5.
Right. Let's go back to your original question then, Pete. And we kind of talking about it, but the collective back four then. So ask the question again. What did you want to say?
No, I was going to say, like, just what were your thoughts in general of the way the back four worked together today? Obviously, we talked in isolation, Dan Burn, how he managed to come up against Anthony. I've given my thoughts, and you boys have touched on it as well, about his individual battle with Anthony. But the back four in general, you know, do we see that being the back four now that moves forward with these past three performances from them, or do you think, you know, do you think something needs to change at some point?
Look, it's working. Look, we haven't lost the game with this kind of tactic he's playing with. When we're on the attack, we kind of revert to a back three, but when we're in defence, it's a back four and there is that I've said it for a couple of weeks in a row, that there is that danger of Burn and something being done for pace, but it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't cost us a goal yet. But yeah, you can see it each game. You can see it, especially as the game goes on, because he seems to recover early on in the game. But yeah, as the game goes on, you can't blame him, you know. But I could see it continuing this season. But then if that's the plan, I want to see a succession plan come the summer, in bringing in a specialized kind of left back. If Target is kind of going to be kind of more like a utility coming on to cover in either full back positions, a kind of more squad player. But yeah, for now, why not? It's working.
Yeah, Chris.
I wouldn't change anything. I mean, the stat we brought up before, as Daz says, you know, best defensive team in the league. I wouldn't change a thing.
Hey, somewhere.
Hello.
made up with that later. Yeah, yeah. I think I wouldn't change it. I really wouldn't change it. I'd leave it as it is. And it was one thing I did like though with Dan Burn having that yellow card. We brought Matty Target on, and it did just ease things a little bit. It was good because obviously with Burn having. And by the way, that yellow card on Burn was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was never a yellow card. But yeah, I did feel a little bit relieved once once the yellow cards, once Dan Burn had gone off.
Chris just had the laptop over.
She probably talks more sense than me anyway.
Did someone watch the game?
No, she was at a party. No, she didn't watch the game.
Okay.
No, she can't really say anything, can you? Well, you can, but yeah.
Oh, bless. Love it.
Okay, well, let's.
I agree, boys. I agree. I like this back four. I like this back four. I think Target's good as a player to bring on, but ultimately, I'm enjoying this back four at the moment. I think it's well organised, well drilled. I think we're a really tough nut to crack at the moment in that back line. And it goes back to the point where we talked about it on a previous show a while back, is that, you know, apart from Man City and Liverpool, no other team has scored any more than one goal past us.
Yeah.
Which it says a lot.
It does, Pete. And it's not what we're known for in the past. So, yeah.
No, definitely.
Long may it continue as well. Right, we'll move on to the midfield. And first up in the midfield is Bruno. Bruno, like, again, all the midfield did well, playing against a strong Man United midfield, of course. Yeah, just I suppose solid displays, but no, there wasn't standout moment. They were breaking things down. They were stopping the Man United play. But I'm going to give Bruno an 8.
Yeah, to be fair, Daz, I completely agree. I thought Bruno, he didn't have one of his magical games, but equally he did do a lot of probably unsung hero work, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Like he did what he needed to do. We just never saw that real spark today. You know, that moment where you go, wow. We just didn't see that today. That's not to say he had a bad performance, because I don't think he did. So yeah, I think 8's fair.
Yeah, 8 for me. I think there was a lot of pressure on him. I think there were a lot of eyes on him, not just Newcastle fans today.
Yeah.
The world was watching him today and how he performed. I thought he used the ball really well. I thought he used his body really well. He does anyway. Won a lot of good free kicks in different positions where it kind of took the pressure off us. So it might have been deep in our own half, but he had the ball, got possession, won a free kick, and it just allowed us to take a breather and move the ball up the pitch. He's just so intelligent in his play. So he might have not done loads and loads moving forward, but he did the other parts of the midfield job that made it a real success. And sometimes sometimes when you go to games at Old Trafford, you can't always perform and be that superstar player that you want to be. Sometimes you've got to play the other side of your game. And I thought Bruno did that today. So I would give him an 8. It wasn't that superstar performance, but it was still an important performance for us to get the points or point.
No, cool. Right, move on. Longstaff is up next. And I'm going to give Longstaff 8 as well, same as Bruno. There was one moment of though he did a great run back and block at one stage. I think it was late enough in the game, but so I'm going to give him an 8. He put in a solid performance as well. I know all the talk is always about Bruno, but why not give Longstaff the same plaudits?
Yeah, I think 8's fair. The only criticism I'd say of Sean Longstaff was that he gave away a few needless fouls, and it was a couple of them were in dangerous areas. But yeah, again, like it was a solid performance. Like, and that's what we've seen recently from Sean Longstaff. Could he provide more? Yeah, probably could. But at the same time, if he's in that sitting role, allowing Bruno to do what Bruno does best, that's fine by me. Do you know what I mean? I think going forwards, I prefer to see Shelvey in that position, but Sean Longstaff, he gives you his all, doesn't he? And he broke up play a few times nicely. He's always in and around. He runs around. He's all action. He tries his best. I can't really criticise him other than some of the silly fouls he gave away. But yeah, just for effort, I'd say he's an 8.
I really liked Sean Longstaff today. I really do. I talked about Bruno doing that other side of the job. I thought, look, Sean Longstaff today, for me, that performance, and it wasn't, again, a superstar performance, but that performance showed me another side of Longstaff, that he can go away to an Old Trafford and play that deep line role and do the graft and the hard yards. And I thought he did it really, really well today. There was a couple of times where he was almost playing as a centre back and really swept up well and stopped attacks from manifesting into something. I think he's really learnt the art of that. I saw it the first time I saw it was at MUNNEW. He did it a couple of times there and he did it really well. Today, I thought he was very, very good in his position. I agree with you guys. I give him an 8 for his performance, but I think we are now seeing a different side to Sean Longstaff. And the one thing I'll say is that Shelvey will give you so much more on the ball. He'll give you a range of passing. He'll be able to play those nice little neat triangles of passing. But what you won't get from Shelvey is that last-ditch tackle, that tracking, that positioning, where we're against the counter, we're trying to defend the counter-attack, and he gets back and he covers 40 yards and makes a definitive tackle. That's what Sean Longstaff's added to his game recently, and I really like that about him. And I think for that reason, I think he'll keep his place. And Shelvey's going to have to earn his place back in the team. Great to see Shelvey, by the way, back in the squad and warming up in that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
he got a real nice reception from the fans as they were warming up, as he was warming up. So that was nice. But yeah, Sean Longstaff, I saw a different side to him today. It was good to see.
Yeah, just picking up on what you said there, Pete, about Shelvey. Like, if Shelvey tries to do that, what Sean Longstaff is doing, he more than likely will get a card, and then he's and it usually happens early in the game, and then he's kind of watching himself for the rest of the game because he doesn't want to go back to that old John Joe Shelvey getting sent off every couple of games. We don't want that back, costing us points in games. But yeah, interesting how it will play out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you've got options. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good to have options for sure. Let's move on to next midfielder in the shape of J7. And for me, yeah, there's a few nice runs from Jay Steven. Great to see him back as well, actually, in the team. There was the double header that really should have gone in that we talked about there at the start as well. I think I've given and I don't know why, but I've given Joe Linton slightly more than Longstaff and Bruno. I've given Joe Linton 8.25. I don't know why, but I've given him 8.25.
Do you know what? I think you've got to factor it in as well. You know, Big he's not been in the starting 11 the past couple of games, and I thought he came back in, and again, without being outstanding, I just felt so, Pete, I don't know whether you caught this, but just felt so sorry for him with them headers. The first one was a bit of a punt header, like he got it on target, he did well. The second one, if he'd got it in between the sticks, De Gea would not have got it. But he was unlucky with it, you know what I mean? And people will say, we should have scored, but, it's just a couple of inches. If it's just a couple of inches the other way, it'd have gone in because De Gea, there's no way De Gea would have saved it at the height he had it. But yeah, Joe Linton, he's one of our favourite players, isn't he? He's all action, he's everywhere, he's breaking up the play, he's big, strong, physical, great at carrying the ball. I'm looking forward to seeing him actually on Wednesday night against Everton. I think we'll see an even better performance from Joe Linton. But yeah, I would put Joe Linton at probably 8.5. I'd put him just above Bruno and Sean Longstaff. I'd say he was 8.5. He was probably the best of the midfield three for me today.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I've in my head I had an 8. I was going to give those three midfielders exactly the same, but now I can understand why Joe Linton, for you, Chris, has got slightly more. I thought he had a good game today. He was unlucky with the chances. Obviously, I've not had a chance to watch it back, but if you're saying he was really unlucky with it, that's fair enough, because the way, obviously, the angle that we've got, it's a side angle, and it just looked like just tap it in.
Get it in.
It was almost, it was like, it was just put it in the net. One of those ones. But it was, to be fair, we had the same thing. Well, basically, that if it was someone that wasn't as tall as him and was coming onto the ball slightly differently, probably would have been able to head it in. So if it was someone slightly smaller, that he had a clear run and jump at it. But like I said, I'd have to watch it back to have a look at it a bit more. But I've said 8.
Nice one, Pete. Right, we'll move on. Let's go to Murphy next. Murphy, who was subbed for Fraser on the 58th minute, but he had some nice runs. He showed some strength as well at the stages. I'm giving Murphy a 7.5.
Yeah, I thought Jacob Murphy, again, lots of running. Didn't really do anything wrong, but didn't really cause that much of a threat, if I'm honest. I think 7.5 is probably fair, Daz. I can't criticise him for anything, but as we know with Jacob Murphy, he is a bit limited, and that's not me being harsh. It's just a matter of fact he is. But yeah, I thought he did reasonably well today, but yeah, I wouldn't go over 7.5. I don't think.
Yeah. Same for me. Yeah, he did, like you said, Chris, did a lot of running, but his final ball wasn't great today. It wasn't what we probably needed in the game, and it was probably right that he got subbed at that point. I actually thought Ryan Fraser. I think it was Fraser that came on for him. From what I'm thinking, I thought Fraser did all right. To be fair, And actually, walking back to the tram, a lot of the Man United fans were saying, they were talking about Murphy, and they were saying like Murphy's quick, but Fraser looked good when he come on. He's quite a nippy player and caused a few problems. He actually did all right, so I thought it was the right sub at the right time. 7.5.
Yeah. Imagine if we had ASM coming on at that time, though. That would have been nice. Anyway, it wasn't to be. It wasn't to be. Yeah, Isaac. Yeah, I know. We'll be talking about. We'll be still dancing. We'll still be dancing.
Can I? Oh, actually, I'll wait until we go. I'll wait until we go to Wilson. But I had a question about the Wilson substitution. But I'll wait till we hit Wilson before I ask it.
Okay, let's go to Miggy. And look, we'll go to you first, Chris. And your thoughts on Miggy, and you're ready for Miggy. I
just love Miggy. Absolutely love him. Again, I I just love the fact he just buzzes around, and I think it was in like the 91st minute, and he's sprinting back because he's trying to work. What have you
Does
wrote
it
there?
say?
Yeah, Daz, we don't need it anymore.
Oh, nice one, Summer.
Yeah,
Grabs loads of mag.
Here,
you did.
full screen.
That's it.
It's right, kid.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, we are, Daz.
What did I do there?
Screen?
All right.
Yeah, look, see.
Yeah, here we go. There you go.
There you go. Kiss your face. Your face now. There we go.
Yeah, you have to
Well, it's
subscribe
done.
now.
Well done,
If
Summer.
you don't
Hit
subscribe
that
now,
like button.
terrible. Terrible.
Love it.
We're really desperate for subscribers, guys.
Love it.
But yeah, Miggy Almiron everywhere. Again, a little bit like Murphy in that, you know, he didn't quite have that killer instinct, but we know he's got that in his locker because
Yeah.
we've seen it in previous weeks. I'd probably put Miggy just over Murphy, and I'd say probably an 8. I think 8's probably fair for me anyway. But as usual, you know, lots of endeavour, lots of running, lots of pressing. His pressing was fantastic, particularly in that first half. But like everybody else, you know, everyone kind of went into the shell on about the 70th minute, and then it was backs to the wall. But yeah, I'd give Miggy an 8.
Yeah, same.
Excellent.
Yeah, give him an 8. Loved his running, loved his endeavour, like you said. Final ball wasn't always quite there, but he like you say, he's infectious in the way in which he plays.
Yeah.
You just can't but admire him. He does every single game for as long as he's on the pitch. He just runs constantly. And road runner, he really is.
Yeah, I've given him an 8.25. But yeah, and there was a nice move as well. It was a kind of corner routine where Trippier hit it to Miggy, and if he had kept it down, it could have. Because I think everyone just got out of the way as well. All our players moved out of the way, so it was a nice little routine they had going. But tattoo designs, keep them coming. Yeah. So 8.25 for me on Miggy. And yeah, hasn't hit the heights that he has hit in previous games, but hey, we'll let him away with it. Right, we'll move on next to Wilson. Pete, we'll go to you first for your thoughts on Wilson.
Wilson played well. I thought he played well. I think I give him an say in between an 8 and an 8.5. So I'll just say 8.25 or whatever it is. Nice little start, halfway. I thought he did well. I thought he was. I loved it. I think I talked about it with Keane, or we talked about it. I think Chris on away days, because I think he was talking about Martinez and how he can be a bit of a bastard and like a bit of a wind up. But I was like, well, so is Wilson, and those two were at it. Yeah, they were at each other big time, and I loved it. And people were getting worried by it. I was like, no. He's throwing Martinez off his game because he was getting wound up because he wasn't getting his own way. Wilson playing in between the lines, holding the ball, putting his body in front of the ball. Really, really intelligent play. Yes, he didn't get many chances in front of the goal, but he played a really important role in the team. And you know what? When he came off, we really felt it. I don't know if you boys felt the same, that when Wilson came off the pitch, we weren't the same up top.
Yeah. Because we have Wood come on, that's why.
you would expect.
Actually, when that. Yeah, I know. Actually, I think I put it in our own WhatsApp chat when that triple substitution came in. I said, Willock is going to do it. He's gonna. I know he was suffering being sick during the week, but he's going to get us the winner here. But yeah, no, it wasn't to be. But I thought first, I said, okay, I saw Wilson coming off. I thought Willock is going to play up front. Yeah, this could really happen. But no, then I saw Wood. I said, oh no, here we go. Yeah, I would have left Wood for it. Well, I suppose he did win the ball. He held up the ball. That's what he can do. But yeah, no. Jordy 2 for life. All right, let's move on. Well, yeah, we're on Wilson. Chris, your thoughts on Wilson?
Do you know what? I nearly gave him a 9, and then I thought, actually, I think I'm being a bit generous there. But I just loved Callum Wilson's performance, particularly in that first half. No real massive chances. I know he screwed a shot wide, but I'd say it was probably a half chance. It wasn't really like, you know, it was like if he'd have hit it on target, I still think De Gea would have saved it. But I loved his, you know, he's constantly pushing the back lines, and as Pete said, real battle with Martinez, and he really, you know, pushed him and Varane all the way today. I just wish he'd had a few more chances, but again, I don't blame him for that. It was probably just the fact that we didn't create enough, and maybe if we'd seen that spark that I was talking about before from Bruno, then, you know, we maybe would have seen a couple of good chances for Callum Wilson. But I still really liked his performance, so I'll give him an 8.5. But the question I wanted to ask you both was, do you think?
Oh, sorry. What's that, Chris?
Oh, go on.
What's that? I just want to give my rating for Wilson. And
Oh,
then ask
go for it, mate. Go for it.
Must be a bit of delay on my side. Me and Wilson, I'm going to give him a 7.5. I know I'm lowering the tone here on Wilson, but I just thought, yeah, he didn't have an awful lot of chances. He did put in a shift, of course, but I also want to try and G him up to put in a massive performance against Everton. So Wilson is probably watching this. Do your best against Everton and get us some goals. Sorry. Over to you, Chris, with that question you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, no, all I was going to say, I actually thought about it. When we were going through the ratings. And what I wanted to ask you both was, obviously, when we saw Chris Wood come on, Chris Wood looked really deflated, by the way. Really deflated. He kind of looked like, you know, this wasn't going to pan out well for him, and it didn't. Now I think about it, do you think that we went defensive and we didn't have that outlet up front? Do you think that was down to the fact that Wood came on? Because, like, there was one point when the ball went back, I think it was to Varane, and Chris Wood was like, oh, right, I'll go and chase him down. And then by the time he chased him down, he's already passed it. It was gone. Do you know what I mean? The moment had gone. And I just thought, is this why we've not got that outlet up top? Is that the reason, or am I just being majorly harsh on Chris Wood?
No, I think
he doesn't have the pace.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, Daz. He doesn't have the pace, but he doesn't have the know-how of playing that position the way we want it to be played. So the stuff that he does at Burnley is all kind of like a little bit of hustle and bustle, but we need to remember he had Ashley Barnes next to him, so they were both like a tag team. It was like a battering ram, and they did it together. He's now being asked to do it on his own. He's having to cover the twice as much ground as what he did at Burnley, battered twice as many defenders than he did when he was at Burnley. It's difficult, and it causes it causes him some issues, and I think he gets tired very quickly because of it. It was a noticeable difference when Callum Wilson went off, but I remember saying to someone when he came off, because someone was like, "Oh, why is Wilson coming off?" And I was like, "Well, we need him. We need him. We've got nobody else, and he's already been injured this season." And with the talk of Alexander Isak and Maxi not being back until maybe after the World Cup, we can't afford to lose another one as well. We can't afford to lose Wilson. So unfortunately, I do believe that we are going to see this, that Wilson's going to get maybe 75 minutes max to put the ball in the net and win Newcastle matches. And then we're going to bring him off and preserve him, because we've got a 3-game week this week. And normally, I think if we had a full team to choose from, I don't think Wilson would have probably started against either today at Old Trafford or at Tottenham next week. I think they probably would have given him a rest somewhere, but he's going to have to play all 3 games. So we're going to have to manage him massively. If we lose him, we're screwed. We are screwed, because we've got Chris. We're back to Chris Wood again, and we lose a massive goal threat. So it's a difficult one.
No, that's a good point, Pete. And I didn't think of that at the time when they were taking them off. Yeah, that they do need to mind them with the 3 games in a week. And as someone said as well, up until the World Cup, we have no other striker that can score. Right, Chris, we go to some questions.
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions in the chat. I really like this one from Life Goals. It's an interesting one. Would everyone here take a defeat to Spurs if it guaranteed a win against Everton?
Yeah.
I'm a yeah as well.
I would. Yeah, I
I'm a
would.
no. I want 4 points.
It's not. Hey,
It's not. Yeah,
I'll
it's not
take that. Yeah, I'll take that all day long, Daz. But I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
And we need to beat Everton. I don't care how we do it. I don't care if it comes off Dan Burns' bum. I don't care if it comes off his left toe. Left big toe. I don't care how he puts the ball in the net or how we score the goals. We have to beat Everton. Like we after what they did at Goodison Park, we have to beat them. That's just my mentality going into that game. Anything, by any means necessary, we get that win on Wednesday night. That's how I'm thinking right now. So that's why I would take that win guaranteed over Everton if it meant that we ended up losing at Spurs, which people would expect us to. Not guaranteed though.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, Pete. Like, got it for the bragging rights, purely for the bragging rights. I want to beat Everton, and really, like we've always said, our home performances, especially now under Eddie Howe and these new owners and war flags and the fans and everything, evening kickoff as well. I think we'll play really well against Everton. I think we'll do really well, and at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it's one of the top 6 clubs away from home. It is a bit of a free hit. We've gone to Anfield, we've gone to Old Trafford, and now going to Tottenham. So Daz, if we got a point, mate, I'd be absolutely delighted with that. But I do expect to lose.
Are you holding that up, Chris?
No, it's not me. My hands are free.
No, it's over.
I thought you were talking to it and holding it up.
Yeah, like that. Hey.
Nails painted.
It's not me.
I love it.
It's
I love it.
Mason, Mason.
Well done, Summer.
That's quality.
And we've got the final question from Life Goals. And again, it's what we were talking about earlier. Thoughts on the injury situation? ASM and Isak apparently out for a while. Apparently, we're not going to see Isak before the World Cup. ASM, maybe 2, possibly 3 weeks. This week, we'll have some exhausted players. Should we start Wood versus Everton to protect Wilson? Controversial.
No.
Oh, no.
I would play Wood at Spurs. I'd get the win out the way. I'd play, and I think Live Goals, great question, and I think and boys, if you think differently, let me know. I think that Wilson will play against Everton. We'll go all out for the win at St James's Park, and then I think we'll probably see a few changes in the team for Spurs on Saturday. I think Saturday evening, is it 5:30 kickoff? So I think, is it
Sunday?
Sunday.
Sunday at 4:30.
Sunday 4:30. Sorry.
Yeah.
I do. I think we'll rest some players at Spurs, providing that we win. So I'm gutted about ASM and Isak. It's just typical of us at the moment. But you know what? This is why going into the second half of the season, this is why we might need to pick up a couple, 3 maybe players. And move some of that dead one on, the players that we don't necessarily need, because we've got so many players available to us, the likes of Jamal Lewis, the likes of Matt Ritchie. Although we love him as a person, as a character, he's injured and he's not even played for us this season, barely. Can we get a player that can come in and actually do a job for us in that position? Using his position in the squad, Jamal Lewis, maybe one other. This is where we need to build the squad now, so we've got other options off the bench, because at the moment we are very, very light, and it's not good. It also brings back to the point, we need to be very careful on with our signings as well, and their history record of injuries, because it's not good.
Yeah, I think we
very good point.
I think we've seen from the last couple of cameos from Wood. We all made excuses for them at the back end of last season. None so more than me. Like, I thought Chris Wood did a fantastic job when our job was to be solid and to kind of soak up the pressure and then break on the counter. But I think now this is a different team now. This is a team that is forward thinking, and unfortunately, I don't think Chris Wood's not the type of striker which we need in this team. And that's no disrespect to Chris Wood. I think Chris Wood's a fantastic professional, and I think Chris Wood is still, got legs in him. I think he can still go and have a fantastic career, but he's nowhere near top 8 in the Premier League. He's nowhere near it. And unfortunately, we don't play to his strengths. I don't think we've ever really played to his strengths. But yeah, I think the sooner we get a more mobile striker to play back up to Alexander Isak and Callum Wilson, the better. I think going forward, most Premier League clubs would admit you need 3 top strikers. And at the moment, sadly, we've got 2. And we're relying on one of them at the minute, and the other one's injured. I think if we had a young, up-and-coming striker, as an option, I think that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
No, I'm agreeing exactly with what both of you saying, lads. And I apologize, there's a delay. So when I say something, it takes about 2 seconds before it hits you, and it sounds like I'm talking over you. But that'll make it very interesting how the sponsors work, because I think we're coming towards the end of the show. Maybe we should give a shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to shyburns.com and Simon. Have you seen Simon in the chat? Is he in the chat? Let us know, Simon. But yeah, he normally is. And the range that Simon has available on the site. And he also has the loaded range. The loaded normal loaded t-shirt in a variety of different colors, and also the weighted t-shirt in a variety of different colors. So check that out. Also shout out to Pins and Prints and the range that Dean has available there. And check out the latest from Dean. Also shout out to Marty at Machine House and the range that Marty has available there. There's loads of Mobby t-shirts and hoodies. You've seen them before, and anytime there's a new range as well, we put them in the system and promote them. Also a shout out to the Geordie Rise and Dean there as well, and the range that Dean has. Go to the website to check it out. www.thegeordierise.co.uk if you're looking for that one, and you also use the code as well on these sites. If you use the code loaded HQ, or no, I think it's loaded mag now. The code, it's loaded. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen so you can see it. 10% off if you use the code loaded mag. So check that out on the sites we described. Also, I'm going to give another shout out, and it's to the lady of the match of the show. Summer, who gets a special award for being asking everyone to subscribe and to like the show. So thank you, Summer.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Summer. The star of the show tonight. But anything else? Oh, sorry, I don't need to mention what the shows that are coming up. We have, and let me get rid of the banner again so we see the posters properly. Tomorrow. Back tomorrow with the way it is. Pete, take it away.
Yes, so Mike from the Unholy Trinity podcast. We've had him on before. Really, really good guy. Me and Chris have been on with him and chatted to him a few times. He's agreed to come back on, and he's really looking forward to coming back on and chatting with us. When I messaged him, he said he always likes coming on and talking to us on our away days preview. So that should be a great one. So get your questions in for Mike about all things Everton and Newcastle, and we'll be discussing what is certainly for me and Chris a massive game. Maybe more for Chris than me, but it's a massive game. So looking forward to that one. Should be a really, really good chat. That should be kicking off from 7:30.
Yeah, it's always a tense one, Pete. And I used to work with Mike, so I always So it's nice to have Mike on. So yeah, I just hope to God we pass him. I just do. Really do. Love it.
And then also on probably on Thursday, then with the match being on Wednesday, we'll probably do a reaction show on Thursday. So yeah, keep an eye out for that on Thursday evening. So yeah, that's it. And if we come up with any other shows to drop, you'll see them popping up on either Twitter or on YouTube. And if you subscribe and hit the notifications, you'll get the notification of a show as well. But thanks for everyone for joining us tonight, and thanks for everyone in the chat as well with their comments. Make sure to hit that like button on the way out, and that's it, lads. Pete, you have to go talk to your wife. Chris, you got to say thanks to Summer for all her hard work there, and another week we go again. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. See ya. Say bye.
How?
How?
And I forgot to say, we are 6th on the table. Good night, everybody.